Mira Business FM, where business comes to talk.
It's the morning drive. It's Mira Business FM with me, Tim Elliott. Now, Dubai, Abu Dhabi and Sharjah are named among the world's top vacation destinations for 2026 in a new survey. And it kind of reinforces the UAE's position at the heart of global tourism. But for the world's busiest, wealthiest travelers, the conversation is shifting slightly. It's no longer really about five-star suites and private jets. It's more about purpose and connection and rare access that money alone can't really buy. Our guest this morning is Ben Murtagh. He is the general manager of Usturiun Luxury Travel. And what Ben does is designs deeply personalized, I'm reading the quote here, Ben, travel and lifestyle experiences for international ultra-high net worth individuals and corporate clients. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
That right? Is that a decent description?
Yes, that is. I'll have to pay whoever wrote that very well, but that's about right.
That was producer Michael, so you can have
Fantastic.
that one probably
Thank you,
for free. So look, we're seeing destinations like Dubai and Abu Dhabi and Sharjah rank really well this year so far. So what's driving global demand at the sort of the very top of the market?
Yeah, so I think it's twofold. With the UAE destinations that you've just mentioned there, it's always been a popular tourist spot. It's a very mainstream tourist spot for just Dubai especially. With Sharjah, Abu Dhabi, Ras Al Khaimah now becoming a little bit more of a boom, especially at the ultra-high-end level of the market. It's multiple factors. You know, we've got the tax-free opportunities and residency opportunities, which draw very wealthy businessmen here. And then by that fact, they then enjoy vacation times. The rise of new luxury properties, rather than the mega hotels that we see in Dubai especially, you've got more ultra-luxury villa properties, resorts that, you know, are optimizing privacy and space and exclusivity, which it was always a mainstream destination. You've got the great Atlantis hotels, you've got the Jumeirah Beach, these icons, but now further afield, you've got places like the Ritz in Ras Al Khaimah, these incredible villas that make you feel like you're the only people there. Yeah. So they get to do their business, then they get to relax as well.
It's not surprising that Dubai is in the list, that Abu Dhabi is in the list. You kind of expect them to be leading, but Sharjah is maybe not a surprise, but it's kind of a new entrant, I suppose, and it's emerging as a global vacation spot, I think, particularly for European travellers, and that's interesting. What's behind the kind of under-the-radar surge, do you think?
So I think, as you mentioned before, there's a real rise in demand for people looking for experiences and something a little bit different, and Sharjah has that. You know, it's very much outside of Abu Dhabi. It's the kind of cultural hub of the UAE. It's a very short journey from here from Dubai International Airport especially. You've got some great properties opening up. There's some cool glamping kind of experiences. You've then got the new Chedi property, which is absolutely stunning, and anyone that lives in the UAE needs to go there. It's really beautiful. But it also throws itself back to the arts, to the culture, and giving people a little bit of flavour of what's typically, you know, people look at the UAE and think there's not much culture here or there's not much to do. And actually Sharjah has a plethora of things going on there, which is, you know, people want something different now.
And I suppose as well, people are like, well, there's Dubai, I've been there and I liked it. I went to Abu Dhabi and I liked that. I wonder what Sharjah's about, really. Yep. There's kind of it's not a pecking order. I don't want to phrase it that way, but you know what I mean. It's on the list.
And people may not even know Sharjah exists. You know, if you speak to Europeans or people from the US especially, people sometimes think Dubai is the country, not the UAE. So when they come and realize how many Emirates and how many, you know, the differences between them and things like that, they're mind blown. So not only do people come back again, but maybe the next time they come, they do it as a day trip. And then the next time they come, they do it for 3 or 4 days. And it kind of grows like that. And I think it's taken a little bit of time. But I think we'll see, especially, you know, if you look at Al Quwain and that area, the beaches and things like that are spectacular. But there's no real infrastructure there. But we're seeing a growth in demand for those kind of out-of-the-box areas, especially.
So luxury demand is up. And some of the kind of inspiration for talking to you this morning is a Skyscanner report. And it's the travel trends report for this year. So part of the report told us that we've seen significant price drops. 16% in Dubai, 27% is Abu Dhabi. So I'm wondering how the UAE is maintaining this kind of luxury image if costs are falling slightly.
So I think the biggest reason that costs fall is that there are so many hotel rooms. If you take it from a purely stock inventory, there are more and more hotels. Every month there's a new opening, and we're not talking about 100-room properties. We're talking, 6, 7, 800-room properties, and they have to fill them. And what's typically, a few years ago, the ultra luxury end of the market, Dubai has a huge number of 5-star hotels, but there is always a grade between 5-star of what is an entry level and what is top end. And there are more and more top end properties. If you look at Abu Dhabi with the growth that they're having and the hotel chains that are going in, Four Seasons, Rosewood, you've got Aman in Dubai, you've got Cheval Blanc in Dubai. These ultra high level properties are all moving in. And the other hotels have to do something to be able to combat and keep their client. And dropping price is the quickest way to do that.
So 5-star experience for maybe 4-star price point in some cases.
It would probably be still 5-star anywhere else in the world, but yes, in Dubai and or in UAE in general, it's a lot more affordable, but still for the level of service and the quality you get, it's unmatchable almost anywhere in the world.
We do luxury pretty good, don't we?
We do it really well.
Yeah. Okay, so among the ultra high net worth, in terms of ultra high net worth travelers, how has the definition of luxury shifted in the last 5 years? How's it progressed?
I think the biggest trends and things that we've seen is that people no longer it's not just about the hotel suite or the villa. It's more about the destination. It's more, as you touched on at the beginning, the experience and the access and exclusivity to a sense, but it depends on what they're looking for. So our bigger requests now come from slightly more lifestyle and cultural approaches. So when they're traveling, they don't just want to stay in the best hotel in the city. Let's use Rome as an example. It's an easy one. They don't want to just stay in the iconic presidential suite because that's the place to stay. They want to know where to go for dinner. They want to know what stores they can visit, but they don't want to just go into the stores and buy the products. They want to get an understanding of how the products are made, meet the artisans. They want to go to the Vatican, but they don't want to go to the Vatican with the masses. So they want private access, early access, exclusive access for the word. And then you're seeing that people will pay for that. And it's not, you can't put a monetary tag. Everything is available for a price, but they don't just look at it and go, oh, I'm going to pay that. They look at it because they see value to the experience that they'll get out of it versus the cost of what it looks like.
So less kind of the visible extravagance. It's more kind of meaningful, value-driven experiences that mean something to you rather than just the pocketbook.
I always use the Instagram reference of someone will post a photo of their incredible hotel suite or villa, and then you won't see that actually that morning they were in the Sistine Chapel an hour before it opened. They were the only people in there. They won't see that they went to a tiny 6-seater restaurant that's been run by the same family for 4 generations, that you cannot call them, you cannot get a reservation unless you know someone that knows them to get it. And you don't see those. They don't do that for Instagram. Instagram shows the lifestyle, but it doesn't show the experience.
So it must be hard for you, because if you're working with people who have already kind of seen the world, they have the money to be able to do pretty much whatever they want, how do you, where does it start for you when you think, right, I'm going to design something, I'm going to do something out of this world, this is going to be transformative. Where does the spark come from?
I think myself and our team, we're quite a creative bunch. We've traveled extensively and we live and breathe it as well. So, anyone that's into it, you become a little bit geeky. There's always researching, knowing what's going on. But for us, it's always a conversation. There is no 2 clients that are the same. We are very fortunate in that we don't particularly chase volume. So we really get to know our clients and know what people are looking for. And then you get to know that they have done everything. So if you hear on the grapevine something else is happening, we look at it, research it. Is it viable? Work that out. I've just returned back from a recce trip in Europe looking at a couple of things that are new for this year. And we know our clients well enough that if there is an exhibit that's going on, or if there is an opening that's happening, or there is a limited time run of a chef that's going to be performing at a restaurant, that we can send it to them. And our clients are at the level where they can go somewhere at the drop of the hat.
So I could come to you if I was... imagine for a second, this is going to be a stretch for you. Imagine I'm ultra high net worth.
Yes. Why wouldn't you be?
Thanks very much. I'll pay you later. But imagine I came to you and said, look, I'm a music fan and I like certain bands, but I could come to you and say, keep this in mind. This is my favourite. And if they were touring at that point, you could maybe set something up in that regard, for example.
100%. So we had something a couple of years ago with a very high-profile celebrity who was doing a farewell tour. It wasn't a farewell tour, and it was one of those, ways. It never is. No. And we had one specific client who had just left the city. That they were doing the last stop of the show. They decided they wanted to go back if they could, but it would make their lives if they could even have 2 minutes. Not a meet and greet, they just wanted to meet them. It wasn't a photo opportunity, it was genuinely meeting someone that they have grown up listening to. And this client's in their mid-50s. This performer has been around their entire life. And we made it happen. And for them, that's probably one of the most iconic moments of their lives. There are no photos, there are no anything on there, but it was spending 5 minutes as they're walking back to their dressing room, just having a chat to say, wow, you know what, your music shaped my life.
How cool would that be? Okay, so I'm with you. So it's like an immersive experience that you offer. It's kind of it's a moment, isn't it, that you're trying to create for
Very
people?
much. And it's a moment, especially in the fact that a moment is a single point in time that is memorable. For good, bad, great or not. And for different people, that links to different things. Some people are foodies. Some people, as you said, music. Some it's culture. Some it's doing nothing. Some people, we have some clients that they just want to escape. They have super busy lives or large families or, immense pressure, and they want to go and do nothing. And that's still a very big part of our business where people, we are very fortunate in Dubai. We can hop to the Maldives with ease. And, there are a lot of luxury hotels there, but actually it's not the luxury hotels that everyone goes to. It's somewhere where they might not leave their villa for 5 days and they just want peace, tranquility and no Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I can feel that. Do you find that people are prioritizing things like sustainability? Do you think social impact is high on agendas?
Yes and no. I think that, these words get thrown out as big trends and they cause a lot of hype and things like that. And there are elements of sustainability, yes, but it's rare that someone will come to us and say, okay, does that hotel have glass or plastic bottles? It may be a conversation when they're there or they'll notice something, but it's not necessarily a driving factor. I do think people are more conscious of social impact. And I think that when you look at, for example, safari, we've noticed with safaris where the price tags are very, very high. And a lot of that goes down to the difficult logistics of going to these camps and things like that. But actually, the most memorable moments that our clients find are not just seeing the animals, but they are engaging with the local villages, going and actually realizing that them going to those hotels and paying those price tags has a huge benefit to local community. It's not just a tagline. It's not the hotel saying it to draw people in. They go and see that actually this village that only had one water pump now has 6. It has 2 schools. It has all the infrastructure. And that is purely driven not by the local government and, the benefits and schemes that a lot of kind of Western countries might have, but actually that's driven by the tourism dollar. And it's driven by those guests making the right choices to those hotels. And I think that is a real driving force.
Let me ask you about regions globally emerging as, I don't know, it's a corny phrase, but the next frontier for these kind of travel experiences, these kind of experiential travel experiences. Where are you looking at this year?
So I have just come back from the Arctic Circle. When you talk last frontiers, that's a pretty out there one. Yes. It's interesting. On the experiential side, if we remove, that once upon a time safari was the most experiential thing that we could do. And, the kind of mountain climbing or, visiting Everest Base Camp. But actually experiential now, we're kind of in a bit of a loop. And I think it's similar to fashion in, certain items of clothing are on trend and in vogue and then disappear and come back again. And the art of train travel is arising again. Slow travel, as people like to call it.
Okay.
The Orient Express is a global icon of, Paris to Venice kind of thing. But actually train journeys around the world are really expanding. There's some great new ones in Italy. Saudi have a really good one, Dream of the Desert, that launches as well. And it looks spectacular. And there's a real reason that I think that people want to do that is that they want to hark back to the golden era of what travel used to look like, but at the same time do it with the comforts that they're now used to in terms of the 21st century. The Arctic and the Arctic Circle, Antarctica with White Desert, which is an incredible camp. It's now reachable. Once upon a time to get to the Antarctic, you had to fly to Ushuaia at the bottom of South America, take a boat across Drake's Passage, which is not the most fun experience.
It's
no
not
matter
easy
how
to do,
luxurious.
is it? No.
But now you can fly from Cape Town. And it is a private charter and it is expensive, but it means it's now becoming a little bit more accessible. And then when you get there, you can interact with emperor penguins, you get to see the impact of global warming. And that is now no longer just something that is, I've paid to do it for doing it. It's because there's science behind it. You're getting who's seen an emperor penguin in the wild before?
It's funny, I was looking at some this morning online for some reason on a news website. It's funny how things work. But you're right. I mean, that would be fascinating. What else do you do in the Arctic Circle, by the way? Okay, emperor penguins.
Yeah, so emperor penguins are the Antarctic.
Antarctic,
Yep.
okay. So what
Polar
else
bears
do you do
north,
in the...
penguin south.
Right, so thanks for correcting me. But what else do you do in environments like that?
So, for example, let's use the Antarctic with penguins.
Right.
So you will spend time kind of following them, understanding their way of living and everything like that. But then you can take out fat boy bikes, the bicycles with the very wide tires. They're known as fat boys. I don't know what else they'd be called, but you can go cycling across these glaciers and kind of experience the snow caps. You can go abseiling, mountain climbing, and you can understand how the science labs, which have been there for a long time, that what they do and the kind of experience behind it. So across the 5 days that you'd kind of be there, it's pretty action-packed.
No, I can imagine now. I think it's fascinating, and it wasn't the answer that I expected. So, that was worth the price of admission, I think. Let me ask you, I've got a couple more questions.
Sure.
How are corporate leaders and family offices, using travel differently today? Is it leisure? Is it legacy and alignment?
So it's a really interesting one because this has come up a lot for us recently. In the last kind of year or so, corporate and family office travel has been one of the biggest growth markers of our business personally as a team. And what we have found with those, and that ranges from developers to recruitment to banking, and what we've found is that the drive is that they want to offer either their internal teams as incentives or corporate retreats, or externally to incentivize and things like that and reward. They want to do something different. It's no longer about flying to somewhere for the glitz and glamour of it. They want to offer their clients and their teams meaningful and memorable activities and moments. And as we spoke about culture and food and art, they want to do those. And the internal procurement teams or the marketing teams where it often sits, they don't have any knowledge of those. Anyone can look at a 5-star hotel. It takes 2 minutes to look at what's the best hotel and which you like in London. But how are you going to find out where the best private dining rooms are, or the experiences and the activities? And people are kind of getting that shift back on the corporate side to actually, it's not bad to have a vendor that will do that. You don't have to internalize it to save the money when they can't get you the access. And they're finding that balance.
There's nothing like local knowledge, is there, I guess? And I wanted to kind of bring this back more locally to finish off, really, because if you're booking something and you're a little bit late in 2026, for example, but if a client comes to you and says, look, I want to do something here in the UAE or slightly beyond, but let's look at the UAE for the purposes of this. Is there a must experience here in the Emirates that you would automatically think, no, this is what you have to do, this is where you have to go?
I think my overall push for the UAE, whether we live here or people are visiting, is I'm now calling it the Cultural Triangle in Abu Dhabi. So a lot of people have done the Sheikh Zayed Grand Mosque. It is spectacular. It's great to see.
Yeah.
But on Saadiyat now, you've got the Abrahamic family house, which I am not particularly a spiritual person and I am not particularly religious, but it was one of the most moving places I've ever been to see the kind of the juxtaposition of three faiths coming together in what is one of the most serene spaces on earth I have ever been to. And then you also have the art and culture of the Louvre next door. And it's a great day out. You can combine it with the restaurants, but for me, it is an absolute must-do for anyone that's here, living or traveling.
And that's the Guggenheim as well, isn't there? And the Zayed National Museum.
Zayed National Museum is now open, natural history as well. So you could make a full day of it, but those three are kind of my kind of tick for a one-day experience.
I'm glad you said that, because that was kind of the note I made, because to me, that's what you need to do if you're here.
Yeah,
Along with the
beaches,
desert
we've got
safari
beaches,
and all the other
the
stuff,
desert
obviously.
safaris, and there's some great camps. There's some more unique camps coming around. Hatta, I always think, is a really underestimated destination, especially if you like outdoor activities and things like that. But I think for too long, the UAE has been known for not having culture, and I think it's important to push that side of it.
Certainly not true these days, that's for sure. I'm not sure it ever was true, to be honest, either. Ben Murtagh is the General Manager of Usturiun Luxury Travel. I've enjoyed talking to you. Thank you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Appreciate you coming in.
Thanks.
It's Mirror Business FM. This is The Morning Drive.